Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I'm Dr. Celeste Owens, author, speaker, and leader of the Global Surrender Movement. I like to say that surrender is doing God's will, His way, all the time. Welcome to our broadcast. So glad you're hanging out with me. In the next couple of minutes, we're going to be talking about how to take courage when others take fear, and hope this encourages you today to really be to show up in your life, to be bold, to be courageous, and to really a really important part of this is speaking the truth, speaking the truth. So I'm going to encourage you today in that, even from a lesson from my own life, encouraging you to do that. So I'm so glad you're watching either live or through replay. I'm glad to have you on board, glad to have you hanging out. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Hello, Adrian. Glad to have you here. And if you're coming in through replay, you are welcome to comment. I will comment back as if you are live. So make sure you do that as well. So we're talking about taking courage. Hi, so Anita, when others might take fear. Like, how do I take courage? What does that look like? And there are definitely circumstances and things that will happen in your life that will cause you to want to fear. Do not fear. Hey, Anita, Gwen, hello, hello, welcome. We are talking about taking courage when others take fear. Virginia, glad to have you on. Keisha, Virginia, I think you, no, maybe you didn't. I just can't tell who's all on. We have our Surrender University, and actually, we're going to be embarking on a part two of our healing there if you want to be a part of that experience. But I was going to say, Virginia, I don't think I saw you in class Monday, but she could have been in class. I just didn't go through and look at all the names of everybody who was there. So I'm probably wrong. Hey, Key, how are you? So glad you all are coming on in. So we're talking about taking courage when others might take fear, and being bold and courageous and stepping up and doing some amazing things and speaking some truth in your life. So I have been reading along with a whole bunch of other people, The 30-Day Healing Dare by Amy Casi and Utica. And I want to give her a shout out today because we're on day 24, which is bold and courageous, which is funny. I have a chapter in my book called Bold and Courageous as well. So in the 40-day surrender fast, I think it's, I don't know, pre-fast day, I don't know, maybe 4. Pre-fast day 4 is bold and courageous as well. So, hey, M. Franklin, how are you? Oh, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. So reading her book, and she just reminds me of something that I'm like, I didn't do so great on something just recently in terms of my mouth and speaking things. Oh, Virginia wasn't there. Okay, see, I'm good. I know my class. I was like, Virginia, I don't think I saw you on. She said she wasn't there. I got it. No worries. Thank God for the replay, right? For the recording. So I'm glad you got to see the recording. So there's something that I wasn't so great about in the last week or so. So I like halfway did okay and halfway did not do okay on something in terms of speaking things. Remember, we talk about speaking things. Even we talk about writing things down, right? Writing things down. And you know what? Let me tell you, before I even get into this part, we've been writing down 300 desires. Who has written down their 300 desires? Show of hands. I don't care if you replay. Show of hands, 300 desires. Have you written your 300? By now, you should be completely done. There is nothing keeping you from doing the 300. There's no, if God wills, I'm gonna write down 300. God hasn't told me to. There's 300 in you. They should be done. We've been talking about these 300 for how long? We've been talking about these 300? At least 6 weeks. So everybody should be raising their hand. Unless this is the first time you hear me talk about writing 300 desires. And as I go along, I'm starting to see these 300, not all 300, but see things actualizing, coming to fruition and all of that. It's so funny. One of the good Virginia and Anita, they're like, hands up. Yep, wrote my 300 and revisit it. You don't have to revisit all 300 every day, although Steve Harvey would suggest you do. But if you don't have time for that, just open up and look at some of them. Just look at them. And it's so funny. One of my 300 desires is to be on TV. And someone texted me last night and was like, sorry for the late text, but I have a prophetic word for you. You're going to be on TV. And a lot of people are going to watch whatever it is. I don't know if that means her prophecy was continuous TV, someone's show. I don't know. But it's on my 300 desires. I'm like, and she doesn't know that. Oh, and I text her back and I'm like, man, that's one of my 300 desires. How cool is that? Awesome, right? So make sure you're writing them down. Hello, Candace. Glad to have you here. Oh, that's Candace Camille with the what's um the plank challenge. Hey, Candace. Glad to have you. So how to take courage when others take fear, right? How to take courage. So one is, if you're taking fear And if your fear is trying to settle in, because when fear will settle in when something goes wrong. All of a sudden, you got all this faith, all this encouragement for yourself and everyone else, and then something goes wrong, and all of a sudden, fear wants to creep in, right? So let me give you an example. Hi, Tawana. How are you? Let me give you an example. So I've been talking about my son AJ in baseball and how God has set him up and put him into this baseball thing, and how we believe for him to go to the MLB, even though he started playing late. Da da da. What? Right? This boy. Oh my goodness. What can a mother do? This boy. He goes. And his coach does not play. His coach, it doesn't matter what every other team in the school is doing. His coach says you have to have a 3-0. You have to have a 3-0 to play. He doesn't play. So he goes and he's like doing pretty fairly decent. He's doing pretty good actually. Because we just had what do you call it? Progress report come out Friday. So he's doing pretty good. He had 2 C's. And I was like, you gotta get at least I was told him he had to get both the C's up, but I knew if he got at least one of the C's up to a B, it was going to be a 3-0. He comes in the car, y'all. Oh my goodness. So I go to pick him up Friday, progress report day. Go pick him up Friday. He's like, I'm like, dude, I'm outside. What are you doing? Oh, I'm talking to my teacher. At first, I was like, oh, wow. He's talking to his teacher. How cool is that? Talking to his teacher after school. 30 minutes later, I'm like, are you in detention? Like, you take way too long to come out. Oh, I'm coming out now. He gets in the car. Oh, my. One of my grades, the grade that was an A, is now an F. What? It did come to find out when I go to look in, he had turned in a bunch of assignments late, and that teacher does not play. She does not take like assignments. So he got like 0, 0, like zeros. And a 0 is going to bring an A down to an F. I was furious. So we're talking about taking courage when other people take fear. Hey, baby girl, Kathy and Monica, welcome. Oh my goodness. This is when, you know what? When you get afraid, you got to train your mouth. You got to train your mouth well. And you know how you train your mouth? You don't wait till you get afraid to train your mouth. You train your mouth every day so that when you get afraid, your mouth is on autopilot. So all of a sudden, I'm just sitting there like, I cannot believe. First of all, I'm like, I can't believe you did this. Secondly, you need a 3-0 to play. So now you're not going to be able to play until the report card come out. And that's like mid-January. And they got tryouts January 3rd. Tryouts for the team January 3rd. He won't be able to play if he gets his 3.0 until January 14th. So I'm doing the math. And it's coming to me. You're not going to be able to play. But it's coming to me also, Robin. Come on, Candace. Train your mouth continuously. Like, not when you get afraid. You can't wait till you get afraid to train your mouth. You got to train your mouth every day. So, and Candace, I thought I've been doing a good job with that. Hey, Christy. But man, when you get afraid, and you know what you're afraid is? You're afraid is just not what's happening in the moment. It wasn't just about you can't play until January 14th. It wasn't just about that. It was about you won't be play the January 14th. Maybe that means you won't play the whole season. Maybe that means if you don't play the whole season, you're already behind. You already started later than the rest of the players. That you ain't gonna play, even if you play senior year, you're not catching up enough. That means you ain't going to college for baseball, and that means you ain't going to MLB. Boy, you trying to make me a liar? Oh my God. I mean, it went that far in my head, that fast. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Saya. Robin, won't they embarrass you? These kids. You try your best, Robin. And they just go there. They just go there. Thank you, cousin Saya. She said, train your mouth. So it started coming to me. Candace, like, I'm so with you. Woo, Pamela, them thoughts just take off. All of a sudden, it started coming to me. Don't say nothing else. Don't say anything else. Don't say. So you know how much money we have spent on this? You know how much time we have spent on baseball? Don't stop talking. Stop talking. That means you're not going to play the entire season. Stop talking. Dude, this is crazy. Do you know I put you in the school for baseball? Stop talking. That means you're probably not going to college. Dude, after that, I was like, stop. Really, seriously. You got to stop. You got to stop. So then I'm just sitting there. I said, I'm going to stop right now. I had already put out a whole bunch of craziness. Bridle your tongue. Come on, Robin. Bridle. Stop talking. I was like, I'm gonna stop talking right now because I'm just really ready to wring your neck. Like, you better be glad I'm driving because I'm just gonna stop talking right now. So I had to get out of my car. I had to go somewhere. I was like, I stopped at Target or something. I was like, I'm just gonna be back. I had to go at Target. Can't stop talking. I went to Target. I was like, Andel, you're not gonna believe this. This boy got an F, and he cannot play now until January 14th. The trials is January 3rd. This is crazy. He might not be able to play the whole time. Here go Andel. Okay, then he did that. He not gonna be able to play the whole time. Then all right, all right. Goodbye. Goodbye. That Andel refuses to worry. He is on my nerves. He refuses to worry. So y'all, I don't sleep good. Like, first of all, I'll talk to AJ for the rest of the day. I don't sleep good. The next day I wake up, I'm sitting there with my devotions. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even just like concentrate on this devotion because this boy, oh my goodness. So Andel comes downstairs, it's like 8 o'clock or something. And I look at him and he just strolling by and I'm like, dude, can you believe this happened? What happened? AJ got an F, he can't play. You still worried about that? First of all, I didn't know it was an option not to worry about that. I didn't know we had options not to worry about that. Somebody should have told me there was an option to not worry about that because I didn't realize that because I like didn't sleep good. And now I'm up right now thinking about it. What? They will have you a repentance valley all day. Kathy Lee. I was like, Jesus. So once he said that, though, I was like, you do have the option not to worry. You do have the option not to fear. You do have the option to walk in faith. And you know what? When you get like that, y'all, you better get some word in your spirit. You better get some Christian television or you better get something. And you know what's so weird? That night, I was like, I need to hear something. I need to hear something. Anita, your husband is the same thing. Maybe it's moms and their sons or their kids. Mom had the faith. It will work itself. Come on now. He like, you still worry about that? He had forgot all about it. He was like, what's going on? I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, I turn on Mike Todd, y'all. So I'm done now. I'm done. Let me just give you this little 2 pointers and we're done. I just set you up for the story because I know some of you and your moms, you've been set up for this story too. I just set you up for the story. So here it is. I turn on the TV randomly to like, I don't even know what Christian channel it was. Who's on but Mike Todd talking about his new book, Crazier Faith. I was like, all right, go ahead, Mike Todd, because I need this. Go ahead. Crazier Faith. He said one thing he said that I was like, oh my goodness. He said, when you get afraid, you got to rehearse the promises of God. He said, you can't rehearse fear. You got to rehearse the promises of God. I know God has said all this stuff. I got all this stuff in my 300 desires about AJ. God has said all these things. Prophets had come to say things about God, about AJ. There was a prophet, and Deshante reminded me of that, who had talked about AJ in baseball or something like that years ago. I forgot all about it. So I had to start rehearsing the promises. God, I had to start saying the promises. You got to rehearse God's promise, especially when something comes up that is contradictory to what you believe God has said about you, about your family, about your anything. You got to rehearse the promises of God. I was like, okay, rehearse the promises of God. And I started getting, my spirit started getting encouraged. I was like, oh my goodness, okay, God, you said this. I believe it. I don't know what you could do, God, but Lord, I believe he's going to play in the fall. I mean, in the spring. I believe, Lord, he's going to be a part of the team. I believe you're going to give him favor with the coaches. I write that down all the time. Lord, give him favor with the coaches. I believe. Um, and then another thing he made me think of, because Mike Todd said that he's praying. He has all this faith, but his son now has developed autism. So he said that he's just praying to God for healing. He's like, I'm having crazier faith to believe God, that God is bringing about this healing for him. Yep, you cannot rehearse the fear. Love that. Love that. Chew on that. You cannot rehearse the fear. God's promises will come to pass. So I just had to rehearse the promises of God. Even in the summer, we went to, let me tell y'all this for free. Let me give you this for free. God will have you walk on some property, walk on some territory that later on you will claim as yours. Like, you might walk on some land, you might walk into a school, you might walk into, I don't know, anywhere. You might walk by your husband, I don't know, and you take territory. So I always tell people, and that's the way they did in the book of Joshua. When they went around, they took territory. He said, everywhere you put your foot is your territory. And I even remember this summer how we went to California and AJ wanted to go to a Yankees game. He's like, I want to play for the Yankees one day. I was like, I didn't know that. I didn't really? He has like 2 teams. So I was like, "Oh, we gotta get to the baseball game." And we got to the baseball game. We sat in the bus. I said, "Look, AJ, look, you down there playing. What? You down there, but like you got to take territory." And then at the end, they were like, "The kids can run around the bases." And AJ, we wouldn't wait in that long go line. Said, "You gonna run around these bases. You gonna take territory for God." I'm here filming him. He's like, "Ma, you so embarrassing." What? So I had to rehearse that, Lord. We went to Yankee Stadium this summer. Lord, I saw that. I saw you, God. I saw him run around all them bases. I got it on film. Okay, God. Come on, Robin. You better run. He was running around them bases. I was filming. I'm like, dude, that's you. That's you. That's you. All day long. I don't care if you just started. I don't care if you seem behind because God will make the last first and the first last. And you know what's so crazy? AJ's grades were pretty good except for that F, right? But this boy grades used to be terrible. So he's like, "Ma, can you just think about my hi Melissa? Ma, can you just think about the grades that was good though, Ma? Can you because I had some grades that was good, right, Ma? It's gonna take a minute. Don't I'm not talking about the good grades right now. It's gonna take a minute. But yesterday I did commend him for the good grades. But anyway, let me tell you. So number one, rehearse the promises of God. Number two, be grateful. Think about all the things to be grateful for. Don't just focus on what's negative. Don't just keep watering that seed of negativity. Come on, Robin. He's a way maker. Come on, Renata said, I needed this today. I love it. Kathy Lee, just breathe. I should have put on my Just Breathe shirt today. Just breathe. Monica, speak life. I got to continue to speak life over that boy. You guys speak life over people who are in your life as well. Number two, rehearse the promises of God. Number one, rehearse the promises of God. Number two, be grateful. So he goes on to say, I'm having crazier faith. My son has been diagnosed with autism. I'm believing one day him and I are going to sit here and talk about the goodness of God because the son is not verbal. One day, God, we're going to talk about your goodness. Me and my son, EJ. That's his son, EJ. All of a sudden, I realized AJ could talk, AJ can walk. AJ goes to school. AJ learns. Are you really sitting up here worrying about a baseball game or baseball practices? Come on now. Y'all better be grateful. Think about the things to be grateful for. Don't just put your mind on the things that you're discouraged about or you feel negative about, but have faith in God. Have faith in God. Have faith in God and be grateful for the things. That's what Jesus said to the disciples when they said, I might have the wrong story, but I got the right thing he said. But I'm almost thinking it was when the fig tree dried up and because he spoke over the fig tree. Oh my Lord, I'm preaching to myself. The fig tree wasn't being fruitful. He cursed the fig tree. He said, you know what, by tomorrow, you ain't gonna have no fruit. You ain't bearing no fruit. Marcus came on live. Hey, Marcus, you ain't gonna have no fruit. The next day, that thing withered up. They walked by the next day, they shocked. How did you do that? And he said, just have faith in God. And you know how you demonstrate that you have faith in God? You speak God's promises. You speak the truth. You don't speak fear, you speak faith. The word will put you into perspective. Yes, Holy Spirit is always on time, isn't he? Isn't he? Come on, Robin. She said this word was for me today. Love it. Christy, have faith in God and rehearse his promises. Be grateful. Raina, see, you know what? The broadcast is not over until Raina comes on and say, come on, Jesus. Come on, Jesus. I love it. Come on, Jesus. So I hope that encouraged you all today. I know some of you have been encouraged. I don't walk this thing out perfect. Surrender is doing God's will, his way, all the time. I'm not always perfect in this thing. And y'all know I'll be the first one to tell y'all, come on, y'all, I done messed up. Y'all, my mouth would not stop spewing out negativity. Finally, when I got to the part about you might not go to college, I was like, whoa, you going way too far. You doing the most. You got to be quiet. You got to go park at Target, get out and go walk. Go walk this off because you do it too much. Because now you about to put him not in college, you go put him somewhere else. You gotta take him out of all these negative places you put them. So then later on, now I'm back to AJ. You about to do this thing, dude. You know you had a little hiccup. You about to do this thing. Hey, Diane, AJ. Melissa's like, yeah. Melissa's had some breakthroughs lately too. She's talked about that, so I love it. And now we back to, dude, you about to do this. God's about to bless you. God's about, whoo, maybe the next time I won't be so quick to talk. What the word say? Be swift to hear, slow to anger. John from Kenya. What's going on, my brother? You're not late. You right on time. Let me tell you, John, we just said have faith in God. That's all you need. A still tongued up. Go, come on. Be quiet and pray. Thank you, Kathy Lee. I have a shirt that actually says shut up and pray. I should have wore that today. It's real. Come on. I had to rein myself back. I had to go walk in Target. Had to reset. Thank you. Reset, Pamela. So love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your encouragements. You know what's so funny? Right here in the book that I'm reading, 30 Hill and There, I can't show you because you're not gonna be able to see it, but it says, quiet, be still, be quiet. I'm not making it up. I got to underline. Be still, be quiet. Thank you, Denise. Denise is like, I needed that. Rehearse God's promises. So whatever you're going through today, I know somebody that came on here feeling a little discouraged, got something right in your face. Rehearse the promises of God. Have crazier faith, as Mike Todd talks about. Have crazier faith. Rehearse the promises of God. He will come through. So love you guys much. So encouraged by you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the conversation on today. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. I don't care what's coming your way. I don't care what you see on the land. You know what? Let me say that too, and then I'm done because I had to. This book right here is powerful. I'm reading the 30-Day Healing Dare, Amy Cassie Frudiger, and the day she said, "I don't care what's coming on the land. I don't care what you see." Thank you, Candace. There we go. Number one, rehearse the promises of God. Number two, be grateful. This is my last thing to say, and I want to pray this over you today as we head out. It comes from Amy's book. It says, Jesus, today I stand in agreement with your word that says, by your stripes I am healed. I am the healed of the Lord. Your goodness sustains me. And I will have no fear. Your goodness sustains me, and I will have no fear. I am confident in you. I am fully persuaded that faith works every time. I will not be shaken. I will not be moved off of this truth. We gonna make it, Anita. We gonna make it. Woo! Thank you, Jesus. So love you guys. Stay surrendered for life. There's no other way to live. Make sure you catch me, drcelesteowens.com. Make sure you catch the Surrender University. There's another offering coming up in January if you want to be a part of the experience. The Surrender University is where healing happens, So excited to be a part of that and to be able to provide that for you all. So love you much. And actually it's surrenderuniversity.com, surrenderuniversity.com. All right, y'all be blessed. I'll catch you no, I won't. No, you won't. I'm leaving town, so I won't do There's an Oil for that tomorrow. I'll make sure they put it up. My family is sick, and I just said, oh, Robin, I'm so grateful that you were able to listen to today. You by his stripes, you are healed. Candace, I think this is Candace's first time ever popping in, you guys. Let's say hey to Candace before we leave. Candace, Camille, welcome. And make sure you follow Candace. She does some tremendous things around health. She's a tremendous woman of God. She's a tremendous encourager. Make sure you follow Candace Camille, you all. Check her out. Great word. Crazy faith. Yes, crazy faith. So love you guys. Be blessed, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.